Ah shit, today we finally get to cover my girl 2B, with the B standing for best girl, don't at me chief. She's one of the 3 limited characters debuting during the Nier Automata collaboration in the upcoming Untold Naraka update. And if you don't want to miss future feature hair guides and videos, don't forget to subscribe, and if you make any corrections or forget to mention something, it'll be in the pinned comment down below. Alright, glory to mankind.
こちら 2B 問題ない
2B is an S-rank attacker construct that deals purely physical damage and features burst damage, enemy attack reduction, and a thick ass. And in this video, I'll cover her skills, passives, ascensions, playstyle and tricks, builds, and weapons. And like I mentioned in my 9S video, for the team position, rotation, and near pull recommendations, it's already covered in the A2 video, so I won't be covering them in depth here. And as usual, if you want to see a specific topic, timestamps are provided. And going through her kit, her basic attack string swings and throws forward her Virtuous Contract Light Sword, with her final attacks ending in upward and then downward strike, dealing physical damage in melee range. Holding down the dodge and moving the joystick allows 2B to sprint, and attacking during sprinting performs a sword spin, dealing physical damage. Her QTE is a series of slow wide swings, ending in a downward strike, dealing physical damage. As for her orbs, her red orb performs some swift strikes followed by a downward strike with her Virtuous Treaty Heavy Sword, dealing physical damage, and she cannot be interrupted in this attack animation. Her yellow orb is a low attack spin with her light sword, and the spin direction can be controlled with the joystick, and it also drags enemies along with her, dealing physical damage. This skill also reduces enemies' attack by 60% for 12 seconds, and she cannot be interrupted during this skill. And this is also her swap and attack. Her blue orb launches a drone swarm attack, dealing physical damage to enemies, and she cannot be interrupted during this attack, and can actually dash cancel out of it. And as for her core passive, it's indicated by the sword gauge at the bottom of the screen. It activates by either swapping in or performing a 3-orb matrix yellow, and then activating any 3-orb matrix ping afterwards. Think of it kind of like Alpha's core passive, but instead of blue orbs, it's yellow orbs. Once activated, the sword gauge starts draining unless you're in the ult animation, but while the gauge is active, 2B's basic attacks, yellow orbs and red orbs launch ranged sword waves dealing some physical damage, and the blue orb will break out of attacks. Additionally, 2 and 3 red orb pings or matrix red orb pings will grant 1 to 2 stacks respectively, and these stacks are indicated on the top left, and they each last about 8 seconds. A maximum of 3 stacks can be active at a time, but triggering them again or ulting refreshes the stack duration. So what do these stacks do? Well, each stack gives 2% physical damage bonus, but since you should be running 2B in a full Nier team, the stack bonus is 4% instead. And these stacks will disappear when the sword gauge is depleted. And basically, for the smooth brain TLDR, swap in or use 3 orb or matrix yellow and then any 3 orb ping after to enter core passive. Sword waves go brrr, and prioritize 2 or 3 orb matrix red pings to keep up the physical damage buff. And finally, her ultimate activates her Virtuous Treaty Heavy Sword and swings the sword at a circular AoE, dealing physical damage. And if the last hit of this attack connects with the target, 2B performs additional sword slashes, dealing massive physical damage. And as for 2B's leader passive, when 9S and A2 are on the team gets 25 energy for their ultimate at the start of battle and gains increased physical damage. And as for Ascensions, at SS, after any Nier member ults, 9S and A2 gain 10% crit chance, and 2B gains 25% crit chance for 12 seconds. And at SS, 2B's sword wave damage is increased, and they also grant a little bit of ultimate energy to 9S and 2B, while granting a bit of shield/spear gauge for A2. And 2B's damage stacks are now increased to 4% physical damage at base, with 8% with 9S and A2 on the team. And after 2B ults, yellow orbs become random orbs. And at SS+, 2B takes 30% less damage while casting orbs, and blue orbs will grant her brief invincibility. 2B also gains an additional 10% physical damage at base, or 20% physical damage with 9S and A2 on the team when her core passive gauge is active. S rank is enough investment for most players, but whales can aim for SS 2B for the buffs and quality of life, but again, refer to the pull guide in the A2 video for pull priority. As for builds, for 5-star memories, 2B can run 4-piece Voltaire and 2-piece Ife, but as for 6-star memory builds, she has 4 primary builds depending on the playstyle. The meta and recommended one is 4-piece Pattern on the top row and 2-piece Caudy on the bottom row, since it provides good consistent damage with Pattern and more reliable ultimate activation with Caudy. For whales with SS 2B or higher, 4-piece Caudy on the bottom row and 2-piece Darwin on the top row works for ultimate spammer 2B. I personally run 4-piece Pattern on the bottom row and 2-piece Darwin on the top row. It takes a little bit longer to proc the ultimate reliably or quickly compared to Caudy, but it has more general damage. And finally, the last option is 4-piece Hannah on the bottom row and 2-piece Darwin on the top row, and this can be used to more easily proc the double A2 QTE in the rotation seen in the Nier rotation guide in the A2 video, but it's not recommended since it gimps 2B's damage a lot, but it can help remove a layer of RNG to activate A2's double QTE. And if you're running a triple S solo carry A2 with 2-piece Frederick, feel free to swap any of the 2-piece sets on 2B with the 2-piece Catherine for the physical defense shred. And as for resonance, aim for attack and crit on the top row and ultimate on the bottom row. And as for hypertune the bottom row first, and then you can choose to hypertune the top row since she does benefit from the added crit. And as I've mentioned in my 9S video, I've already covered an example rotation in the A2 guide, so I'll be skipping over that here and just covering her playstyle. Her core passive is pretty easy to proc anyways. When swapping in, just proc any 3 Orb or Matrix Ping to go into core passive stance. And 2B is mainly played as a sub DPS that burns orbs, ults for the burst damage, and then swaps off. And I've been getting questions about 2B as a main DPS, and it's just not viable due to A2 demanding a lot of field time to maintain her shield or spear gauge needed for the constant enemy defense reduction. Although it can be okay in niche scenarios like Pain Cage, where a highly invested 2B can be used to quickly nuke a weaker boss, but for the most part, A2 is one on field and 2B subs in when A2 is in orb downtime. And there's some tricks that you can do on 2B, including juggling enemies in midair, just like in Nier Automata. After the end of the basic attack string, 2B can cancel her downward strike with an orb ability and juggle small enemies in midair. And for the 2 Booty Edition self-destruct, you basically activate her core passive and then clear at least 10 orbs, with at least 2 of them being red orb pings within the duration of the enhanced state, and then activate the self-destruct orb. It's not really practical in actual combat, but for you Coomers out there, that's how you do it. I just hope I don't get demonetized for showing 2B's bare. And as for weapons, as with all Nier units, they get their 5-star weapon for free, and this is enough for free to play or light spenders. For whales, the 6-star or signature weapon is a decent upgrade, especially for sub DPS 2B, but once again, check the Nier pull guide in the A2 video for pull priority. Outside of Giga Whales or Lux Hackers, the weapon isn't really high priority compared to A2 and 9S's weapons and ranks. And although 2B is a lower priority in terms of 6-star weapon resonance compared to A2, I'll leave the weapon resonance priority on the screen for the Giga Whale meta players. And as for my quick recommendations, unlike 9S and A2 where you're guaranteed a free copy, 2B is a gacha only character whose banner debuts halfway through the Untold Naraka update. And luckily, due to Nier refunding collab tickets after every 10 pulls, 2B is cheaper than regular constructs at around 10,500 black cards equivalent. But if you want to use the Nier team, remember that you need to at least pull 2B for the Nier team to function. And if there's any updates or corrections, I'll leave a pinned comment down below. Be sure to check out the community post regarding the Nier poll recommendations if you have any questions. If you have any further questions, drop in the comments or join the Discord at discord.io/autonautomata. I'll try to respond if I'm not busy. Subscribe so you don't miss future guides and videos, and if you found this video informative, drop a like, a dislike if you didn't. But yeah, Nier can be a little bit complicated, so these videos did take a while to compile. Thank you all for patiently waiting. And the Untold Naraka update should be next week, and I'll be streaming A2 polls sometime after release on my Twitch at twitch.tv/spider2b. But as always, thanks for watching, good luck on your polls, and peace, League.